everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Orphea and today I'm gonna be answering your questions that you guys asked me on my 2000 subscribers giveaways. Now I'm gonna be splitting this up into two parts. This might be rather long videos. The first one will be answering your YouTube questions and the second one will be answering the Instagram questions. And the way this is gonna work is that I'm gonna just go to my video and start answering the questions. Now I know there are some repeat questions. I'm still gonna be answering them. I'm sure there are new people here since my last Q&As and I want to give everyone a chance at getting to know me a little bit better. So now without further ado, I'm gonna open my YouTube and I'm gonna start answering questions. The very first question that I get on my tablet is by Bami. He says, new subscriber, so happy things are going good for you. How do you approach interesting people? Well, if there's someone I really want to talk to, I will just talk to them. Whether it be in real life or digitally, I will send them a message just saying hi. If it's someone I think is interesting, I will most likely have some questions to ask them. If it's someone who has amazing hair, I will ask if they do their hair themselves, and I really love it. Yeah, and then I see what they respond. In real life, this is a lot easier to detect if someone actually wants to talk to you or not. Digitally is a lot harder, but yeah, I just start talking to those people and just be nice, be friendly, don't be too pushy, and that's how I talk to interesting people. The next question is by Cat K Bunny. She asks, what modern goth bands are you currently listening? I'm not sure what you consider goth bands, but I listen to a lot of Suicide Commando lately, Aesthetic Perfection. I listen to a lot of music that is on my Spotify, so it's God Module, Faderhead, XRX, and most of the bands that I personally listen to are gothic electronic bands. If you want to see my monthly music favorites, which is something that I started doing this year, you can definitely check out those videos to get an insight on what I listen to. Then we have a few questions by my friend Cindy K. Hole. She asks, which YouTubers do you look up to and take inspiration from? I don't really look up to anyone in particular. I watch a lot of YouTube channels. One of the channels that will always inspire me is the Goblin Queen. I also really love Toxic Tears, Black Friday. There's so many. Biohazardous Beauty I look up to makeup wise. She's amazing and she's just so sweet. So those are just a few channels that I can think of right now that I look at and that inspire me. Her next question, which YouTubers did you check out at the time you get started and still watch? There's actually not a lot of them. I still watch Toxic Tears because she already was around on Black Friday. I also watch Jade the Libra ever since I started being on YouTube and started watching videos on YouTube. NinkComPoop is also one of the channels that I started watching on really early. She kind of changed what she makes videos about, but I think she's just so sweet and so cute and so bubbly that I just like watching her videos. And then finally, a channel that I really want to mention is Nibbles. I really love Nibbles and she's just so blunt and so open about everything. I really enjoy her. I really enjoy her creative filmmaking style. So yeah, these are some channels that you could check out. Then she also asked, what type of videos do you watch during toilet time? I have books on my toilet. If you ever come to my house and you will get into the bathroom, you will see that there's comics, there's actual books with words and not images. So I read on the toilet. I try not to take electronics into the bathroom because I spend too much time there if I do. And then finally she asks favorite little YouTubers you like and deserve more love or credit. Well, of course, Cindy's channel, she has 250 subscribers now. I think she deserves a lot more. She puts a lot of effort into her videos. It's a lot more real talk than my channel, but I think she deserves more love. Otherwise, for tiny channels, I'm not sure what you describe as a tiny channel. I think channels who are over 1,000 subscribers are not really tiny anymore. But yeah, if you want to check out more channels, then I will link some down below of people that I really like on YouTube. The next question is by Roxanne Lisieux. She asks, how long have you been making your own jewelry for and how did you get into making it? I think I started making my own jewelry in 2012, but basically how I started is because I was living in a really out far region. I didn't have any goth stores around and I wasn't allowed to shop online yet, so I just took things from necklaces we had and put them together, and then I started buying at the craft store jewelry pieces to make actual jewelry, and that's how it all started. And once I got better at it, friends of mine kept asking me if I would make them pieces as well, so I started creating custom pieces for them, and that's how I continued doing it. Then we have a question by Kawaii Sin. What's your advice for baby beds and self-confidence when starting out in the goth community? My number one tip is to stop caring so much what other people think. If you think you belong in the goth community, then you belong in the goth community. If you have a strong interest for the music, for the art, for anything in it, and you feel like that's where you belong, then that's where you belong. I think you shouldn't let other people intimidate you or have fire questions at you. You just should be there to enjoy yourself, to of course learn, because everyone is always learning in the goth scene, because there's so much that you can learn about, whether it be music, whether it be art, whether it be new things that are coming out or old things that are making a comeback, or just discovering what you like the most about it. I think that's the most important thing. Discover in the goth scene what attracts you, what makes you want to belong into the goth scene, and just go with it. The next question is by Boneyard Twitch. She asks, my question is, when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up? Were you darkly inclined from a very young age? When I was very little, what did I want to be? I think I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to take care of animals. We've always had a lot of animals around the house. My grandparents even had like horse stables and chickens, and it was like a farm that they had. So I always grew up with a lot of animals around me. I helped give birth to some baby horses. So yeah, I was always around animals, and at first I wanted to be a vet until one of our pets died, and then I decided that I wouldn't want to face the death of animals too often, and I just went with my school and what they wanted me to do and what I was taught at school. The second part of the question, were you darkly inclined from a very young age? Yes, I think so. Even though I wasn't aware what goth and what being alternative was, I have always been attracted to some aspects that my mom had around the house. My mom has always been a very artsy person. She always had very special antique furniture, and actually if you see the furniture that we used to have in the house, it was like a gothic mansion that we lived in. And I actually didn't realize it at the time, but I really loved some aspects of it. I have a few things from my mom still in my house, like one of the porcelain statues, etc. So yeah, I think so that I have been attracted to the dark side ever since I was small. Then we have a few questions by Amy Nekrotique. The first one is, what are your favorite clothing brands that aren't around anymore? Well, my number one clothing brand is Lip Service, and they are not around anymore. And I am, as always, still collecting more stuff, so yeah. But yeah, my favorite clothing brand that isn't around anymore is Lip Service. Then she also asks, what do you enjoy doing in your free time? If I'm not working on videos, I'm either listening to music and reading, because I love reading. I also play a lot of Minecraft together with my boyfriend, and we watch series and movies together, of course, as well. But yeah, apart from YouTube, making videos, taking pictures, doing my makeup, I think Minecraft is my biggest waste of time. And then her final question was, will you be uploading any more DJ mixes? Actually, yes. And when she asked this question, my second mix was not online yet, but I was already working on it. It was ready to go at that time. And I am working on mix number 3 that will be out somewhere in April. Then we have a question by Midnight Owl. She asked, how old are you? At the time this video airs, I am still 25, but on April 15th, I am turning 26. And the second question she asks is, do you plan on ever getting married? My expectations for marriage are not really the same as everyone else's. I think if you're happy with someone, you don't have to get married per se to stay with that person. I'm not planning on getting married. I might get married to my boyfriend. We'll see. He will have to ask me first, and yeah, we'll see. I don't really have any expectations for getting married, etc. We'll just see how it goes. Next question is by Pink Fuzzy Cow. Do you have a YouTuber or person you look up to for fashion inspiration? Not really. I don't have a particular person that I look up to. I have a huge Instagram feed of people who have amazing styles and I get inspired by them, but I don't like copying people. I think I will never recreate an exact copy of someone's look. That's just not my thing. But yeah, I like looking a bit everywhere for the inspiration for my outfits and for my makeup. She also asked where I got the bat headband. It is actually from the H&M Halloween collection of this year. I bought two specifically because I thought I would lose one. Now I gave away the other one, but last year they also had them, so maybe look out at H&M around Halloween this year again if they maybe have similar ones for sale again. Then we have a question by Lynn Vogan. What are your favorite non-god bands and what movies, shows from Belgium do you like? My favorite non-god bands, I think Muse is one of my favorite non-god bands. Otherwise, I can't really think of anything right now. And then the second part, what movies, shows from Belgium do you like? Actually, none. I don't watch Belgian TV, I don't watch Belgian movies, not that I'm aware of at least. So honestly, none. Then we have a question by Two Bro Gods. Who are your top favorite YouTubers, goth or not? This is really hard because I watch so many YouTubers. I think Glam&Gore should be at the top of my list. Black Friday, of course, because she's amazing and she's so funny and I just think she's a really genuine person. I also really enjoy Nibbles. I think those are my top three right now at this moment that I watch. The next question is by Victorian Dead Rose. She asks, do you ever do hair videos? I'd like to see a bit about your hair care style products. So I have, I think, currently 3 hair videos up on my channel. The first one on the black hair dye that I use. It is a rather old video at the start that I really started making videos. I have a second video on how I keep my hair looking black, and then a third video on how I do my massive hair and tips for making hair massive. I think that's the only ones I have on my channel, so I will be looking into making a hair care styling products video showing you my favorite things. Then we have a few questions by Theo Heartstar. Hi Theo, he's been following me for a very long time, so thank you for all your support. You comment on most of my videos, especially the music videos. I really appreciate your comments. So to your questions. If you were not in the goth subculture or any kind of dark subculture, in which other subculture would you be interested and why? I started out in the more rock metal subculture before I got into the gothic side of things. So if that is an option, I would be there. If not, I think I would be in the rave scene. I really enjoy dancing. Despite my fond love of black, I also really like vibrant colors, and that's one of the reasons why that I have my extensions that I put in my hair to have some pop of color. So yeah, if the metal scene counts, I would be in the metal scene. If that doesn't count, I think I would be in the rave scene. The second question, which other genres of music do you listen to? I listen to anything really. If it's good music, I can listen to techno, I can listen to classical music. I listen to a lot of things. It doesn't matter as long as the song appeals to me. And finally, the third question, how old have you been when you started to be interested in the goth subculture, and how did your parents, other family members, friends, classmates react to that? Did they accept it without any objection, or did they disapprove of it? My parents have, I think, always known that I was into more darkly things. They never refused the way I dressed. My mom even took me to buy corsets and corset-inspired things. Not actual corsets, but like things that looked like corsets. They have never been too difficult about it because they knew that I wasn't doing drugs, I wasn't doing anything harmful to myself. So yeah, I don't think that my parents actually ever really had an issue with it. I'm really grateful for it. In school, in the first schools that I always hung around alternative kids, so we were all similar in that style. And in the other schools that I went to, at the end when I started doing like university, that was a bit harder. They were less accepting, more bullying, more just ignoring me if they didn't feel like talking to me, etc. So in the upper levels of my school career, it was more hard being alternative. The next question is by Lara Avlis. How you got into the subculture? thanks to a forum called Vampire Freaks and meeting people who were gothic alternative as well at festivals, because at first I didn't know of goth subculture. I only listened to metal, I didn't know what goth was, and at my first metal festival I actually met some goths and they helped me get along and helped me start getting into the goth subculture. We have a few questions by Spike Skittles. The first one, what made you decide to become a YouTuber? Well, some of you maybe still know that I used to have a blog, and onto that blog I posted a lot of things about makeup, because that was really the start of me wearing makeup and I wanted to kind of document it and see for myself how I improved. Also, I wanted to improve my English skills. At the end of my blog I was making more and more tutorials, and because those tutorials in pictures were very nice, I preferred making them in video format, and that's actually how I started making YouTube videos. And over time I decided for myself that I found it easier and more amusing for myself to make YouTube videos than to make blog posts, and that's how I made the switch from my blog to a YouTube channel. Our next question, what do you like most about the goth community and what do you dislike the most about the goth community? Well, I basically love every single aspect of the goth community, whether it be music, whether it be the people, the fashion, I really love it all. The only thing that I kind of dislike is that there is not much around here in Belgium in the goth community. So I just wish there were more events, more things to participate in here in Belgium where I am part of the local scene. And her final question is a funny one. What metal bands can you not stand? This doesn't really have to do with the music that I cannot stand, but I cannot stand big egos. The next question is by Twilight Kim. What talent would you love to have? I honestly would love to be able to sing. I cannot sing for the love of God. I have tried, I took singing classes, I totally suck at singing. I don't have a vocal range, I always have had breathing issues while singing. My throat does not accept it, so singing is not made for me. So if I could choose something to be very good at, it would be singing. The next question is by Nessa Nervengift. Do you play video games? If yes, which one is your favorite? I play a lot of video games. We have both a Xbox and a PlayStation, as well as a ancient Nintendo that we play on. My favorite games are Minecraft on PC, which I honestly love to bits and I still play very, very often, way too often actually. I also really love Guild Wars, both the first one and the second one. And then my next obsession in line is Guitar Hero, which I have almost everything of. Next we have a few questions by Abigail Sharples. The first one is, what time period would you like to visit? If it's just visiting and not actually being there, it would be the ancient Egypt that I would like to visit, when there were temples and all these special things going on. I'm really intrigued by their death ceremonies, so I would go there. And what time period is your favorite? This is the Victorian age, because of the fashion developments, the building developments, just the styles that developed during the Victorian age very much reflect on some of the things that I currently own and that I currently look up to. Next questions are, what bands do you like? I like a lot of bands. Currently I think my favorite band is Rob Zombie, Motionless in White. I also really enjoy Murder Dolls. If we're not talking about actual metal bands, I'm also really into Aesthetic Perfection. I listen to God Module a lot, XRX. There's just a lot of bands that I like. It's way too much to put into one video even. So if you want to see the music that I listen to, you can check out my monthly music favorites. Next, where do you shop? I shop mostly online. If I shop online, it's mostly on Attitude Holland. I also shop on the Gothic shop, and then also on the websites of particular brands that I like. I shop on Rogue and Wolf because you can get these nice things there. Be on the lookout for promotions because there's almost always one going on. I recently also started buying directly from the Killstar website because they have a UK store, which I was not aware of. But yeah, those are the main sites that I buy my clothing, etc. from. And then her final question, who inspired your style? A lot of people. I have a really nice Instagram feed that I can follow up on with lots of people who really inspire me, who are creative with their outfits, who have an amazing fashion style, who create things that I could never do. So yeah, I follow a lot of people on Instagram that create my fashion inspiration. Next questions are by Kimmy Black. What was the first goth band you really liked? Now, some people are gonna argue maybe if these are goth bands or not. I personally do not give a shit if they are goth bands or not. The first band that got me into the gothic alternative subculture was Lacuna Coil. I know technically they are more metal than goth, but they had a really gothy appearance during that time. I think next in line would have been Suicide Commando, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the very first gothic electronic bands that I discovered. They are from Belgium, so it totally makes sense. But yeah, I think that they were the first actual goth band that I listened to. And the second question she asks is, what is your favorite clothing item? My favorite clothing item is one of my lip service dresses that you may or may have not have seen in one of my previous videos, which was my collab with Cindy Cahill. It is the Da Boss dress from the Gangsta Pranksta line. It is a really awesome dress. It's super comfy, and yeah, it just looks super cool. The next questions are by the winner of my giveaway, by the Gothic Slytherin. The first question is, what country would you most like to visit? Right now, I would love to go to the US and visit my friend Amy, or just go to the US in general and see Amy. Yeah, the US is a country that has always appealed to me, but that I've never gone to. Another country that I really want to visit as well is Poland. I also really want to go to Sweden and Norway and Denmark. There's a lot of countries that I really still want to visit. Also, from which country have you heard the most good things about their goth scene, and would you be curious to see for yourself? This has to be Germany, because I have a lot of friends in Germany, like Lila Chris and her friends go out in Germany a lot. I always see great events being posted. They have bands playing. I went to Club Matrix in Germany, in Bochum, a few times, and it was always very awesome. So yeah, I think Germany's goth scene appeals to me most. The next question is by Black Rock Shooter Girl. Are the differences in African American goth community from the major one? I have absolutely no clue, since I am from Belgium and I have no idea what the African American goth subculture is like, so I'm very sorry, but I'm not sure what to answer to this. Then we have a question by Josie Amaye. If you could attend any festival in the world, which one would you choose? If I could, I would love to go back to the Wave Gothic Treffen. I have only been there once and it was amazing. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'm gonna be attending the Wave Gothic Treffen again, but I would love to do it someday. Then we have two questions by Laura van Zingen. First question is, how did you get into YouTube? And I think I have answered this previously. I started on a blog, and then from my blog, because I wanted to make more tutorials, I started making them into video format and uploading them to YouTube. And after a while, I just enjoyed making YouTube videos more than writing blog posts, so I just switched to YouTube. And she also asked, did you wait a long time before making your channel? I have had my YouTube channel since I was 13, and at first I just uploaded concert videos because I wanted to share some clips that I took at concerts. So I have had my actual channel for a very long time, but I only started uploading on a regular basis, I think in 2014. Then we have a very good question by Hinahon. She asks, how do you choose what makeup you'll be wearing for the day? I'm trying not to do the same thing every time, but I find myself using the same colors all the time. Pinterest. I love Pinterest for makeup looks, for deciding what I can do with my makeup. So what I sometimes do is just type in red makeup, or red tribal makeup, red goth makeup, red alternative makeup, red makeup look. I'm not sure what words I could still combine with red makeup look, but yeah, that's what I do on Pinterest, and I do that on a regular basis because people are constantly putting things on Pinterest, and I actually have inspiration boards for makeup, for my clothes, etc. So If I feel like I don't know what I want to do with my makeup, I will go onto my Pinterest and have a look at my inspiration board and take some ideas from there and start working on a makeup look. Next question is by Sarah Sykes. What is the last book you read? I think it must have been some of the Anna Rice books, because we recently got from a second-hand shop a lot of the Vampire Chronicles books, so I think Vittorio the Vampire was the last one I actually read. Another question is by Kira Rodriguez. She asks, I would like to know more about your favorite band and music style at the moment, or an evolution of it until now. This is really so much that I could put into a video. If you want to see my specific style evolution, as in the clothes that I was wearing, I have a video that is very well representative of that up on my channel that I will be making a pop-up thing of somewhere here or here. I'm not sure in which corner it appears. Music-wise, I started listening to Blink-182, Sum 41, The Offspring, that evolved into metal bands like Rammstein, Dimmu Borgir. What did I also listen to? Cradle of Filth I have a few albums of, and then that evolved into the industrial electronic scene with bands such as Suicide Commando, God Module, and then eventually into Aesthetic Perfection, Nightclub, Iria, Zombie Girl, Komor Commando, etc. Next question is by Samantha Kuhn. How do you figure out what colors are good for your skin tone? I almost always wear black, and black is always a good color for any skin tone. Otherwise I just experiment. You can only know when you try it out. Next question is by Elitari. What got you into the goth subculture? And the main thing that got me initially into the goth subculture was the music. Next question is by Zank Apfel. What is something you find really interesting or unusual hobby of yours? Well, most people think YouTube is a weird hobby. I also make jewelry, which to some people might seem not too usual. I'm not really sure if I have any really strange things. I have some actual bones that I create jewelry with, and I used to clean them myself. I don't do that anymore because I don't have a garden anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure really. I think I'm pretty normal to be a goth girl. Next question is by Super Team. Are you going to Grasp Up this year, and what do you think of the lineup? No, I am not going to Grasp Up this year, I think, because they expanded the festival even more, added an additional day, spread out the bands even more. That, no, for me it's just too much money for the bands that I want to see and can see. I am not too happy or too sad about the lineup, it's just meh to me. I would much rather go to other festivals in Germany like the Amphi Festival. Next question is by Janina Paulak. How did you get into making jewelry? I also already answered this. I started making jewelry because I couldn't find what I was looking for, and then friends of mine started asking me to create things for them as well, and that's how I got started. Then we have a very similar question by Nini Lamer. How did you get into making and selling jewelry? I'm a crafty god myself, and I'm always supportive of independent artists, so I like to hear about their stories. So like with the previous question, I got into making jewelry because I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I started selling on Etsy because people recommended Etsy to me because it's a platform for creative people to sell their art on. The next question is by Amber Black. How do you get easily discouraged by lack of interest and negative reviews on Etsy? I don't really have a lot of negative reviews on my Etsy. I always take reviews very seriously, so I will always ask them specifically what it is that I don't like about it. Was it too long? Was it too short? Should I include something in my description of the item to prevent it happening in the future? Or can I improve on the things I am making? So I always take them very constructively. Lack of interest is something that I don't know how to combat, really. I just kept making things and putting them on Etsy, and once I had a few sales through Etsy, people kept coming back. Then we have a question by Josephine HV. Which social media do you use most, and which one do you use least? The social media I use most is definitely Instagram. The one I use least is Twitter. I never really post on Twitter unless it's like an automatic post generated from my Instagram or from my YouTube. Next is a question by Mistress of Bleeding Sorrow. I would love to know what your biggest fear is. My biggest fear at this particular moment is losing everything I have. Losing my house, losing my job, losing my boyfriend, losing my car, etc. I would be terrified of having to start up everything from zero. So that is currently my biggest fear. I hope it doesn't ever happen. But if it does, I'm not sure what I would do. Next question is by Diana Greenhall. What would you recommend to newbies as affordable go-to products or shades to start with? And I think this is makeup related, so I'm gonna answer it in a makeup related way. I would recommend getting a foundation that is close enough to your skin tone to make it work. Any foundation to start out with, which you personally like. I started out with Catrice and Essence, which is totally good. I would say invest in a good white or base color and a good black, and then you can spend any money you want on colors. I personally find that a good base and a good black can do a lot. As for lip products, find out what you like. Some people like regular lipsticks, some people don't like lipsticks or lip products at all. I personally really love liquid to matte lipsticks, but there's a lot of people who say that they are too drying, that they can't stand the feeling on their lips. So just find out what works for you. Also, mascaras and nail products don't have to be expensive. I personally use a Essence mascara, which is 2 or 3 euros, so it's really inexpensive. And the nail polish that I wear on my nails is also by Essence, so I think it's like 2 euros for a bottle of black nail polish, so you don't have to break bank into looking good. Next question is by Amber Zook. What is some of your favorite movies? I love the Rob Zombie movies because of the aesthetic they have. I also really love the Underworld franchise. It's just amazing, and I'm so looking forward to a new release coming out. I'm also very much into more darker movies like Pan's Labyrinth. I also really like fantasy movies, so it really depends on my mood. Next question is by Olivia Is God. What is your favorite book? Currently my favorite book is Neverwhere. I'm not sure of the author at this moment, but I will include a picture of the book here. It's one of the books that I have read the most over the time that I've had it. Next question by Laura Avlis is what are your favorite 70s bands? And I am not sure because I'm not from the 70s, and I think most music I listen to is from the early 90s up to now, so I'm very sorry, but I don't know. The next question is by Bui Bear. What piercing have you always wanted but never got, if any, I suppose? I have gotten my helix pierced, and that was one of the piercings that I've wanted for the longest but never got. And then when I finally had it, I had so much issues with it that after having it for a year and just having constant issues with it over that year, I just took it out. Another piercing that I would love to get pierced again is my lip piercing, but because of my current employment, I'm not sure if that is a possibility. Then a question by Dornan Tainter. Do you think you can be too old or too young for God? As long as you understand what you're doing and you understand what you are part of, I don't think you can ever be too young or too old for God. I know people who have kids that they put goth clothing on. I'm not sure if those kids know what they are part of or if they know what God is, but I don't think you can ever be too old either, because I would love to be old as a God and stay awesome and stay spooky. I don't think you can either be too young or too old as long as you understand what you are part of. Next question is by Leva Bulit. What inspired you to make YouTube videos? I think I kind of answered this. I started a blog on which I posted tutorials, and those tutorials turned into video tutorials, and that's how I got started on YouTube. Next question is by Hello Doll. Would you ever consider visiting Australia? Yes, I would definitely consider it, although it's very far away. But on the other hand, I have family who lives in Australia, so I would kind of have a place to go to. But yeah, I would love to see the entire world if I could. If it wasn't too expensive, I definitely would. And then the final question, which is a very hard question, is by Mariana Vinhela. What is your favorite band of all time? If I have to name the band that I have loved the most or time-wise the longest, I think it would be Rob Zombie, also because of the variety in his music. So I think my all-time favorite band is Rob Zombie. This was me answering all of your questions for my 2000 subscribers giveaway on YouTube. The next video that I will be making, so the Instagram part, will be up next week, so you have a week's time to absorb the information of this video. So thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Bye!